And one eye! What's up, everybody? It's your boy King Game there. Sorry, running a little late there, but hey, at least I didn't. Hey, at least I didn't. At least it wasn't like that time I dozed off, and it was like almost nine something. I was like, oh my goodness, like almost like that morning routine video that EJ did. Except of course that was for laughs, though. Because I know reality. Pretty. If any of us woke it like actually woke up that late, I mean, okay, obviously we wouldn't be making no video out of it, but we more than likely probably rush and get ready and get a part tart and get on out of here. So yeah, I'm just saying, yeah, but anyway, yeah. So here we are. I know I saw somebody coming in here earlier while I was getting set up and everything, kind of posting around, so that everybody would know, what as many people as possible would know. So yeah, so I guess they should probably come back in, make they probably was waiting to see if it was gonna start. Like, oh, he ain't started yet. I'll be back. So anyway, but I do gotta, but whoever did come in, I gotta like probably have a good idea who it is. They'll probably be back though. So anyway, this is gonna be Heroes of Dream Origins here. They're probably wondering like now, why would he be giving us an origin after he done already read five of them books already? It's like we waiting to hear number six there. What the Black Widow? What the MCU Black Widow is this? Say, yeah. You know where I'm going with that there. Yeah, let's wait till Natasha Romanoff dies in Endgame, and then suddenly have and then finally get her origin out there. Well, not so much. Well, somewhat origin, and then it was a continuation. But even then, it took place after Civil War. I mean, okay, I can understand you being a little late with the origin, but considering where the movie takes place, yeah, you should have at least had that after the events of Civil War, since that's where it took place at. So I'm just saying, come on, Marvel. So, so why am I doing this like this? Um, Honestly, I did. Okay, now, all honesty, I didn't think about this until just now when I was trying to, think of what I was going to do a live stream about, and it just kind of came to me, because I was thinking at first to go on and go into book number six, and possibly do like half of it today, and the other half, and try to get on here Saturday for a bonus stream to do the other half. But then I figured, nah, I better, yeah, I was gonna just do this instead. Um, so the origin actually is not only the making of my Heroes of Dream series, but I'm also going to share some information about the first five books so far. And honestly, it kind of does make sense to do it at this point, because it will altogether, yeah. If I had done this before I started reading the books, probably would have been kind of limited, because yeah, then I'd have to, the other information I'd have to give as I was reading the books. But now, yeah, I can kind of put it all at once all together, without spoiling anything, because we've already been exposed to the first five books. And of course, the fifth book ended, Miracles of Salvation. They all accepted Christ and became the Dream League, after Venom X came on board. So yeah, there was, and then it became Dream League. So yeah, that was a say. So now, yeah, we know where it's pretty much going to go. Their adventures together. Obviously, there is going to be some other heroes that will show up and probably explain about them as we go along there, the series there. So, but yeah, so right now we're going to, yeah, like I say, origin, and a bit of a recap, origin, and also some hidden information in the book. So, um, So let's start. First of all, before I go into this, let you guys know, like, share, subscribe. Definitely get our available books, like Yumiko. And speaking of Yumiko, well, let me finish first. Like Yumiko, also definitely support us on Patreon, just like Iceman Universe does, and also show him some love too on his Patreon and get full link reactions of his Hey Arnold, Ed Nitty, One Piece, and Naruto, and also by supporting Miracle Productions Patreon, you get early access. We still got some toy reviews up that I have not released on YouTube yet, but come on Patreon, you'll be able to check them out before they get there. I will be dropping another one uh, pretty soon, probably this weekend. And yeah, probably as I go along, because what I try to do my I try to drop my videos on separate days from my live streams there. Uh, yeah, to sort of pad it out a little bit there. So that's one advantage with the Patreon. So like, well, it's taking a long time to get a video up on YouTube there, other than the weekly update. Well, go on that, sign up on that Patreon so you can be checking it out before it drops. And also, the one video we have up there that's Patreon only. So yeah, go on over there and check them all out. Flora and the Striker first. But support us to see it. And also, definitely like, you hang out with us on these live streams. You can hang out with us on Discord and Facebook, as well as, and also let's sell each other some supplement McCary app. So a few things I want to let you guys know before we go into the topic at hand. Um, First off, I did send remember the yesterday morning surprise live stream, not the Bible reading one, but the morning one I did as a surprise while I was reading the what I had at the final draft of the script to you guys. I have sent it off to Sherry Gray, Lumpy Grits Production, and oh, okay. I thought, let's see. Oh, okay. I thought it was gonna. Okay, I thought it was gonna be kind of a long email, so I could. Okay, so I can share it with you guys right here. Okay, so he says, commenting on the format. She says it's a lot cleaner and easier to read. Very understood. Yep, because like I say, and it is long. Yep, because yeah, it's one thing she did about the 10-page thing. Due to it being a 10-minute playfest, okay. She said instead of 3 acts, there should be Act One, Scene One, Act One, Scene. Oh, okay. So that's okay. Okay. So yeah, okay. So definitely, so change the scenes. Okay. 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 Like I say, first time writing a script, so yeah. And get a little, and say a little corrects of how to, the proper ways of writing it. There, nothing wrong with that. There, I mean, after all, like I said, we went to school together, and being that both me and Jerry were in school together, we definitely, I know we definitely had the same drama class there, because pretty much all the kids. Because you know how when you're elementary, you have your different enrichment classes that you are, like, you stay in one class the whole day, and that one class you're taken to several different enrichments. Yeah, unlike with middle school, you change classes, but you also see different faces in those classes. But in elementary, you're in this, you're with the same group, just go, and at a certain time of the day, you go to different enrichments like music and drama, stuff like that. So yeah, we had drama class, stuff like that. Um, so yeah, this pretty much like kind of making me think of drama class back in South Highlands. Um, okay, so that okay, so let me know your schedule. We could go through the 10-minute playwright material. Oh, okay, okay, so I got so as soon as I can get my I gotta get my work schedule tomorrow should be posted. And then I could kind of yeah, say schedule. I don't know now. I don't know if we're gonna like call each other or meet up somewhere, but to kind of go because they had a workshop back here. I think last Saturday. Of course, of course usually I'm always working Saturday, so it's kind of hard for me to get the best way I can get any pretty much anywhere on Saturday. I would have to request off in advance, because that's how it worked. You gotta, uh, I think like at least 3 weeks in advance because of how the scheduling works. And that's the thing about working in retail there. Um, so so yeah, I got so that's pretty much. I thought it was a lot more info there, but yeah, it's just so we get together, kind of discuss that there. I'll probably even bring up the play up on here as we're probably talking in order to um, kind of see what, go from there. Uh, Also, okay. Also, another thing. Was one other thing I wanted to mention. I'm not sure what it was, but well, I think that was pretty much it there. That's pretty. Yeah, I think that was just pretty much it. Just that email. I wanted to let you guys know what up with that there. So yeah, more progress of that, and hope you guys are. I don't. I know some of y'all watching are probably from different areas outside of Shreveport there. So anybody watching this that is celebrating the fourth, you might be, maybe some might be watching, and maybe you don't celebrate it, but um, you know, uh, if you are, hope you're having a good one there, and having a good time. Over here in Shreveport, we just oddly it's been dry and hot leading up to the day, and suddenly today, the day before the fourth, the floodgates of heaven open. So, hey, like that song, "Open the floodgates of heaven." Let it rain. I feel the rain. I feel the rain. It's raining. Yeah, so we got a lot of rain down here. A little bit of a storm, kind of thunderstorm. Yeah, a few lightning streaks I did catch, but wasn't too bad there, the storm part, but the rain poured down pretty much like somebody dumped a bucket of water out of the sky. So yeah, it came down. I mean, it's not raining now, but yeah, it came. When it came, it came. Yeah. So um I don't hear any fireworks popping or anything, so I guess the ground is probably too wet to pop any. And I don't know what the outcome for tomorrow's gonna be like. So might might not have a fire. Might be a little without fireworks this year. Oh well, as Will Smith say, I will. Say, so it ain't not much you can do about that there. Um, Although I guess some people who probably are not too fond of all those fireworks. This will probably having that rain cancel the plans of firecrackers. They're probably smiling. It's finally some peace and quiet for Independence Day. None of them firecrackers. So, yeah, you know what they say. Nah, they say you can't please them all. I guess this year the people that don't like the fireworks will be pleased this year. So, mm. Anyway, let's get on into what we're here for there. Oh, but overall, I hope y'all having a good fourth. Eat a lot of, and especially eating barbecue. I'm probably I'm probably gonna be getting some barbecue a little late. Probably 'cause I'm going on vacation from Kroger. I'm going on my next vacation from the 20th to the 26th. I will be off just a regular off day, the 18th and 19th before that vacation. Because on the 19th, like I mentioned before, we getting together to see Superman, um, as sort of a belated birthday for EJ, and review it. So, um, so there's going to be that, but chances are, if I don't have it before then, I probably at some point during the vacation week probably have me some barbecue from good old King's, King's barbecue, turkey legs and wings. There, come on down to the King. So, all right. So anyway, let's get into this origin here. This, as they say in SpongeBob, this origin story. Boop, 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 boop. So, how it all started? Well, as a lot of you following the channel, probably seen some previous videos. Do you remember, if you recall, there's a playlist, Star Striker before Yumiko. There, remember I mentioned to you guys not only about the Star Trek comic series that came out in 2017, but also the unpublished Star Striker series from 2004. Be sure to check those videos out. But in layman terms, that was at one point that I did intend for that to lift off the ground in the Marvel universe, because it had crossovers with Spider-Man and Daredevil. Of course, it never really did there, and did come up with quite a few adventures in it, though. Matter of fact, both me and Casey were in on it, especially with her character Sword Girl added in there, and then the whole idea of going from a Star Striker series to a Dream League series, because we was also, just like we was in the Static Shock, we was also in the Teen Titans there. So so there was that. And after after high school of making that series there, in our role plays there, pretty much that was all it went to, and maybe a few remakes of it, but didn't really go over anywhere. There, eventually, during my college days of creating stuff like more stories and all that, we there at one point was a thing called, I'm not completely sure what I called it, but it was sort of like like animal versions of like Star Striker and his friends, somewhat, but they weren't actually animals, but they were animal themed heroes, they're superheroes. That's where the creation of the Squirrel Avenger came in. Which his name was Merrick, and he supposed to be that he was raised by squirrels and stuff like that. Yada yada yada. There's actually more. So there was that at one point with some other animal themed heroes. And I think Target was still in that series too. Yeah, I guess they had their own version of Target. And I think at the same time, that's when Christina had taken a look, because I was talking with her in college, obviously, and she had taken a look at what I was, well, actually, obviously, I like to talk a lot, so uh, I was talking to her about different stuff I had worked on and stuff like that, and that came up in the conversation. And when she saw that, she's like, Bubble Girl, why not call her Bubblina? More feminine there. So that's where Bubblina came into place, and on top of that, made her into a mermaid. So at one point, she was in that series with the Squirrel Avenger and Target, along again with some other animal themed heroes. There was a character known as Saba the Lion Warrior, say, that was teamed up, that was sort of like a rival to the Squirrel Avenger, and then eventually they became friends, sort of like a Goku Vegeta kind of thing. Um, and the Sword Girl had a animal. There was an animal themed character. I mean, there was a animal themed hero character version of Sword Girl. Um, I think Casey called her the Shadow Fox, actually. So in a way, that kind of is where the Night Fox sort of came from, the creation of Shadow Fox there. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that some of our, I think there was some few times we role played the 2004 Batman series, and she used the Shadow Fox character in our role plays of that, where her character was supposed to be like Bruce's, I think his cousin or his niece or something like that. Sort of had a Jackie Chan kind of thing going, which ironic because the Batman 2004 series has the same animators as Jackie Chan Adventures. So there was all that going on. So yeah, it was gonna be like Squirrel Avenger, Bubblina, Shadow Fox, Saber the Lion Warrior, and another target. Uh, yeah, that was a thing. Not so wasn't really much I came up with on that. Just pretty much the character creation. Then there was the whole thing of, well, let's bring back the Star Trek series leading into Dream League, and I think a bit it came up with, well, we're gonna come up with a title called Heroes of Dreams. Heroes of Dream got published for the first book, and it even had a different cover. The first Heroes of Dream book, when it got published, it had a different cover when it first came out. Um, I think it was in the summer of 2010. I actually had started writing it before then. I think. Let's see, I'm trying to think. And the reason I'm thinking, because I remember, like you notice how, even though they're not comics, they got pictures in them that I actually drew and colored with colored pencils. Um, so I remember, since now, okay. So I actually did start writing it, I want to say, um right at the beginning of the year, like right around the beginning of January. And I remember, once I had finished writing it and got the pictures drawn for it, um I I think while I was kind of finishing up the pictures, I remember showing them to our nursery students at our church nursery that me and Christina were volunteering in back then, showing them some of the pictures of what was in development, and of leading up to my first ever published book. And eventually, um, I ended up getting it, because I ended up getting it published from Outskirts. Outskirts. That was the publishing company that I had got it published with there. It should be even listed in here. Oh wait, no, it's not. Okay, it's in the, because I actually don't have, like I say, this had a different cover. I'm gonna see if I can bring up online. Uh, my package has arrived. Hmm. Uh, oh, it's been delivered. Okay. Oh, okay. I was about to say, I didn't order any packages, so I didn't order anything. So not at the moment. So okay, so I'm gonna, let's see, Heroes of Dreams, and because if I'm not, because like I said, it was 2010, and I put, because see, this one got King Gabe on it. This was actually a remake of the first book. When I switched publishing companies over to CreateSpace, which is now Amazon Kindle Direct. So I went back and did a remake of it to add it with the other books that I was coming out with there. So let's see. Prince Gabe, because before I got married, I was known as Prince Gabe instead of King Gabe. Okay. Okay, house. Yep, here it is. Yep. So, nope, stop that. Okay, stop. Okay, that's a picture of the first cover from Outskirts there. Yep, that's what they had put together. Now I know probably compared to this, yeah, this probably yeah, you probably like well this one looks more professional the presentation. So why did I switch? I actually well the thing was while it was more professional, it cost a heck of a lot of money just to get one book at a time. Then not to mention, ordering excuse me, copies to sell. Yeah, so and they was a see back then when I first started, we still had the bookstore known as Barnes and Noble back then. Uh, which we still do. We still have Barnes and Noble. Oh, I know what it is. It was not only Barnes and Noble, but we also had a Books a Million too. It was another bookstore, Books a Million, that we used to have right not too far from where I stay, and we had a big Books a Million over in Boulder. And now Books a Million is, at least for Shreveport Boulder, is no longer in business. All we got now is Barnes and Noble. So yeah, we no longer have Books a Million. Um, so a lot of things that changed after I switched publishing companies, and how I did that. It was actually it was a whole year. One a whole year because I got married in 2011. Uh, so let's see. Yeah, it was. Wait. Now, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let me bring this up again. Bring that. Okay. So let's see. Publishing. Oh, wait. I take that back. It was 20. Uh. Okay. So with Outskirt, it was actually 2011 when I. Okay. So I got published in 2011. To be honest. Okay. Okay, I had that wrong. It was not 2010, but I did. I started writing it in 2010, leading up to January of 2011. So I was finishing it up by that point to send it off to be published, and I was showing pictures of it to the kids in our nursery because I do remember seeing it in a video on my old channel, music video and everything, where I was showing the kids the pictures and stuff like that. So yeah, it was May 20th, 2011. Um, so this book first, so Heroes of Dream, starting out, um, 2011. This book would actually be next year. This book will officially be 15 years old. So yeah, 2011. Yeah, it'll be 15 years old next year in May 20th. So um, yeah, Outskirt. So what happened? Yeah, after it got published and everything, had a book signing for it and everything. Matter of fact, my family uh, even threw kind of a little celebration party and everything. Got my first book and everything, and a lot of the family bought copies of it and everything. I think we was at we celebrated at Golden Corral, and then that same day day after the celebration, everything, because Christina was even there. Um, she we that night we attend. I remember we attended a birthday party for one of her employees there. So yeah, whole had a whole night, had a whole day and night there. So yeah, so it was a pretty big deal, and it was even a bigger deal trying to like, okay, how am I going to keep this going? Because I mean, it costs so much to make it publish, and and eventually, as the year was about to end, as 2011 was about to end, I actually had finished writing book number two, and I was almost done writing book number three. I was getting them ready for, when it was, so that way when I, got money to publish the next one, it would be ready. Um, that's when one of my coworkers, yeah, I'll go and say his, I'm gonna go and say his name, Matt Palooza, and the reason I'm saying his name because he had some books published, uh, with CreateSpace, which is now Amazon Kindle Direct. So he had published some books, some westerns there, and he told me, Gabe, you need to try CreateSpace because you probably it'd be a little easier as far as cost wise there, and I did. And yeah, they did have a fee for it, but it was way better than Outskirt there. Like I say, but like I say, they were more independent. And like I say, yes, I mean, I'm not saying this looks bad there, but yeah, the other one, well, but still, I was like, okay, yeah, because I want to get my stories out there, So especially, and I'm just starting out, yeah, you know, you kind of need to build myself up there. So yeah, so I went on and I've been with them from CreateSpace to Amazon Kindle Direct ever since there. So that was how all that got started with the Heroes of Dream books. Matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, that would let me because there's some information in the fifth book that if I'm not mistaken, sort of would date back the the time period in this universe there. Let's see. 9 years, okay. Yeah, let's try to. No, okay, maybe not. Okay, but I do think if it hasn't been covered already, later in the series we will get a confirmation on the timeline there. So anyway, so back with the publisher. So so how the idea came about of going into Heroes of Dream, um, kind like I say, it derived from my 2004 series of creating Star Strike, the Star Striker series, Static Shock, and like, oh, that's why I made Star Striker and Target. Casey came up with Sword Girl. Then, there was Bubble Girl, which is now Bubblina in her own universe. And then Venom X was thrown in because we wanted to do a whole Teen Titans thing, kind of with the create, and that's how the creation of the Dream League came up there. So with that, so for Heroes of Dream, originally before before I even had found a publishing company in the first place to even before I even got published, um, I remember 2010. Matter of fact, a little before then. Um, After Squirrel Avenger and all that, 2009 leading into 2010, there were iterations of what was going to be Heroes of Dream soon. There was a I remember I actually had made a new costume, which, um, if you remember from when I read this from the first book, looked a lot like that there. Yeah, so I actually had made this costume before I even got this book out. Um, because I wore that costume as my Halloween costume for what we had at Kroger called Kids Night Out in 2009, and I even had a oh wait, no, it wasn't a wig. I actually had dreadlocks back then. The dreadlocks that people think are a myth. so yeah, so it really went well with my costume now. Had a little plastic sword and everything there. Just like that's how I got that deal of Star Trek having that star sword and everything. So it started back then, and when I was trying to come up with ideas of how to start the series. It kind of was going to be a lot darker than what you hear in the books. I mean, there's some dark moments in what's published, but it was going to be a lot darker at first there, especially even from the start. You know, you think like Star Striker, well, he's all colorful and everything, like, you know, like the new Superman movie. But you know, yeah, it was at first, you know, it started off, you know, Star Striker would be introduced. Then he would end up sort of in a crossfire between Target and Sword Girl. And originally, it was, you know, remember how we always say Sword Girl, much like Batman, her parents, you know, were someone had her parents had died in a house fire there, which someone had started it, of course. So in the darker version that was going to be Heroes of Dream at first, um, it was going to be that there were hunters that were hunting down psychics like Sword Girl, and sort of like anybody ever seen the movie Jumper? When Snow Cone Samuel L. Jackson was hunting the jumper. Yeah, that's, I heard somebody call because he had this white hair look like a snow cone. Where you going? I got you now. Well, you can't go nowhere. Where you going? So, um, so they were hunting down the psychics, and um, in that version, Sword Girl would even have a older brother. I don't know. I forgot what the name of it was, but name of her brother was. But Casey, she came up with that character too. So I'm pretty sure, you know, if she's listening to this. She would know what the character's name, or probably, you know, like, well, let me think about it there. But that was another idea back then, who was trying to, you know, like, work, like, what are we gonna do for the series? And Target even had a brother um, that was with him, known as Tracker. And I remember the lady, the lady that did my dreadlocks back then, that did my dreadlocks. She even state she like I told her some, you know, what, you know, some of the ideas I was coming up with and stuff, and she was wondering, well, why don't you have a hero called the Mark? Sort of, yeah, you know, right on the mark. Uh, so yeah, there was that there. Oh, yeah, it was gonna be pretty dark at first there. Yeah, like I said, the crossfire between these hunters and the psychic that were remain the surviving psychics. Star Striker was sort of like kind of caught in the middle of the Civil War, kind of. Um, and eventually, yeah, they would kind of stop and everything, and the three of them would, you know, be sort of working together. Um, I'm not sure how Phantom X was going to come up in that, but he just kind of did. And I remember, because at that point, Christina changed Bubble Girl to Bubblina. Um, there was ways that I was trying to come up with how Bubblina was going to come in there. And it was, and some of the ideals were tying in. Some of the ideas I kind of tried to tie in with what Christina had wrote for Bubblina. Remember, check under the Bubblina playlist later, when Christina was reading her rough draft of issue six of Bubblina, what would have been but didn't get published, and she also she read her an origin she came up with for Bubblina before I even wrote Heroes of Dreams. That before I got it published and everything, and got to book four and everything. So, um, and one thing she stated, like, originally she was gonna be a teenager and everything. Um, there was, yeah. So yeah, originally, yeah, Star Striker was going, and all of them were gonna be teenager. And Target was the only kid, just like in the 2004 series. Then we were sort of bouncing between him as a teenager Orchid, like Target there, and also Sword Girl being a kid there. So it was sort of bouncing back and forth on that for a while before the publication. Um, and the thing with Bubblina, there was going, um, there was gonna just like how I mentioned, Sword Girl was hunted and everything. Uh, remember movies like Splash where they were trying to capture Madison because she was a mermaid there and study her and all that. That kind of same thing. Now I don't think I saw the Splash movie back at that time. Not completely sure, but it was something like that was going to happen with Bubblina. That there was some scientists after her. Um, and of course, in book four, we get Silly Willy Nilly, who's after. But yeah, it was going to be a little bit more serious than how what than what we got in book four. Um, yeah, it was gonna stuff like that. Um, and I think, but yeah, it was gonna be like that. And oh, excuse me. And of course, they end up having to save her and everything. Um, Again, I'm not completely sure what I came up with for Venom X until we got to actually writing the Heroes of Dream series. But I do recall, as far as adding other heroes, which as you know, after book number six, when I get into book number seven of the series, you'll start to see other heroes get introduced to the Dream League there and kind of be added to the Dream League. So when the Dream League was formed back then, like coming up with ideals of this ongoing series to publish, um, there was heroes like I'm trying to think. Okay, Head Venom X. There was actually going to be a a female werewolf hero called Moonraiser, who there was going to be a love triangle between Phantom X, Sword Girl, and Moonraiser. Don't ask. Actually, what it was, it was actually one of my coworkers that I was imagining as Phantom X, and he does know about it. There, I can't think of his name, but he did know about it. I was telling him about it. Oh no, no, no! Wait, no, it was somebody else. It was somebody else, but it was supposed to be, yeah, that he was with Sword Girl at first, and then I guess things didn't work out between him and Sword Girl, and then he started dating Moonrazers. Sort of a callback to sort of a reference to Justice League with Green Lantern and Hawk Girl kind of thing. And then he was seeing Vixen there. Remember that scene when they were in the elevator? He's like, Shire, I just wanted to Judas Priest. Like, you don't like it? Like, oh no, it's just that I've never seen you in the dress before. It's touching. If you want, I can tell you where to get Vixen one. Listen, and then Batman showed up. Glad I caught you before you did something stupid. I beg your pardon. So yeah. Oh boy. So yeah, it was kind of something like that. I even imagine my character sort of quoting some of those lines there. Like say say Venom X in that same position with Sword Girl, and then Star Striker pops up. Glad I caught you two before you did something stupid. Yeah, there was gonna be that, and there was some other characters. There was two that I came up with, also based off of some coworkers that I used to work with back then. Um, Arrow Kid, and it was actually Airman and Arrow Kid, because there was actually a coworker that I actually, you know how we nickname people there sometimes. So there was a coworker. I said, "Hey, what's up? It's the Airman, and the Arrow Kid." And the Arrow Kid was another employee that actually was his I think it was his email address or his YouTube or his name on YouTube, Arrow Kid. So that's where that came from, was Airman and Arrow Kid, like a duo. And they were sort of like Iron, just imagine Iron Man but with plane technology in his armor. So a miniature plane armor. So yeah, something like that. And that's why they got the names Airman and Arrow Kid there. It was, yeah, that kind of came up at that. So it was okay, Moonrazer, Airman and Arrow Kid, and there was also there was also two others that were going to be a part of the series, but um but I got declined of of the consent to use them, so I couldn't. So yeah, I couldn't put them in there. That they were called Bomb Boy and Snow Bunny. So it was two other coworkers there that came up with those characters. But they was like, no, we don't, nah, don't put them in your series there. Um, about Bomb Boy was actually somewhat like sort of similar to Cyborg from Teen Titans. Yeah, he was a cyborg there. That's how, and yeah, his whole thing was shooting bombs and stuff like that. Uh, so and yeah, which and then of course Snow Bunny, I think was his girlfriend there. At least back then, I think they kind of, I think they sort of separated there, broke up there. So, but back then when they were with each other as boyfriend and girlfriend, yeah, um, that was the character she had, was Nobody. It was actually, and funny thing about them, these were actually this is actually the names they gave to avatars on a video game they were playing. So that was kind of another reason why they said, "Nah, don't use it," because I think it was something decent. I think the game, I may be wrong, but I think the game was like related to DC, like DC Comics. They may have been playing. If anybody remember a computer game, an online game called that was basically DC Universe. Um, that was a long time ago. I remember I had it in my computer at one point and played it a few times there. So um, yeah, that so that was that. Yeah. So that's like what the first five, and then okay, Moonrazer, Ken Arrow Kid, and so yeah, that right there would have been like 10 heroes in what was called the hero tree, which that will be shown in the Heroes of Dream series when I get to book 6. A little spoiler there, and also it's a possibility that it might work its way into a version of it into the Yumiko series there. But yeah, that was a thing. It was the hero tree, and then I think like later down the road when whole bunch of other heroes joined up with them, they were supposed to have like a new base called the All Fort there, like a fort. Yeah, ever when y'all were kids, y'all ever made a fort before? FORT. Well, had a thing called the All Fort, sort of like how the Justice League went from the Hall of Justice to the Watchtower there, sort of kind of thing. Or when they started off with the Watchtower and Justice League series, and then they made it bigger in Justice League Unlimited, kind of. So yeah, something like that there. Um, so that was kind of the early day phases uh Heroes of Dream, of what it could have been before getting published. So yep. So then yeah, I got book one published and everything. I don't think there was a whole lot that was like rewrote. I mean, maybe a few things, but I not that I remember them. But I do remember I did have quite a few things that I went back and forth with writing book number two. There was even going to be a point in book two where Star Trek was interviewed by the news reporter, which I think it was a different person in mind, but we do end up getting a news reporter in book five introducing the Dream League there. So which is Tanya Wesley. But yeah, in that case, yeah, it was there was that idea. Excuse me. Yeah, and I'm not sure what other things I was trying to think of to get that kicked off, but eventually, book two got started. Um, Book number three had a lot of rewrites before I got the third book out. Before I got Heroes of Dream, book number three, it went through a lot of rewrites there. Yeah, between with me and Casey trying to discuss what how Sword Girl was gonna be like in this series, in this universe, and everything. Um, but yeah, it was a lot, and Bubbleina, book number four of Heroes of Dream that introduced Bubbleina. That actually, may not believe it, but that was actually the hardest one. Uh, Actually, that and the fifth book, those were the hardest ones. It probably underwent a lot of rewrites as well. This is why, because book number four with Bubbleina, there was the whole I don't know why. It took me a long time to figure out how to do the transformation from human to mermaid because I think at that point I did see the Splash movie and also H2O, and I may have saw a little bit of the series H2O, of how you um, in those universes when when they're dry on land, they have legs. But the minute but if all of a sudden they get wet, their legs instantly turn back into a tail. And yeah, there was that. The H2O kind of made it more magical, where yeah, it did not only turn to that, but even morphed morphed them into this little sort of bikini like thing, which you know. But in Splash, yeah, it was just the tail transformation because there was a scene in Splash 2 where the transformation from her when they accidentally spilled some water on her and and he had to quickly try to get her tail dry to change back the legs. He went under the table. That's nice, dear. So um yeah, that was that. And the thing was I was trying to figure um I'm trying to keep it PG on here to say this trying to think how the transformation would work in reality sense. Like I know it's a fictional book, but like in a reality sense, like if a real like if a re, like if an actual girl or woman who's a mermaid, little just how would that transformation go? And yeah, kind of and to say with as far as like say okay like how you see mutations like it's like in different superhero shows like Spider-Man when he became the man spider and it started out he had those four extra arms pop right out of him and made hole and he had to make holes in his Spider-Man costume for the extra arms there because yeah, I know it probably would take a lot more work to sew up, to re-sew four different sleeves there and gloves. But so he just cut, holes in the costume for the arms. Then eventually he became the full man spider. Uh, and I think yeah, his he did. I think he managed to take his mask off before his head completely changed into the spider. So yeah, um, like that type of mutation, and also like Hulk, how every time Banner changes into Hulk, only thing that stays on is his pants because his pants are stretchable. but his shirt always rips off, and so does his shoes. That yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like if just say Christina was a mermaid. If she would like just say if she even if she had like a dress on, you still got her shoes there. So yeah, I mean, do her feet would her feet like come out of the shoes and together into the tail form there? And don't get me started if she wasn't wearing a dress, she was wearing pants there. Yeah, that was I was thinking so hard on that. It took a long time. And then eventually it's like, Gabe, they're magical creatures. Just have a magic transformation like Sailor Moon or something. Magic. Hello, Gabe. Magic. So, yeah, it's like, oh, magic. So, but how? It's magic. It doesn't have to be explained. So, yeah. So finally, it came to with that with and undergo with the book and everything. Some of the story ideas that I kept bouncing around with was how they would meet Bubblina. Like was she gonna be at their school as like a cheerleader or something, or like or just in school in general? Since they were since it was during the fall time and everything, where they or was some time gonna pass and they meet her during the summer at some pool or something like that. Yeah, it was a lot going on with that, and how would it be the logic of she get wet and she instantly change, or would she do it at will? She changes at will. So yeah, that solved a lot of thoughts that were giving me quite the headache there. Yeah, like I say, again, writing the books are fun, but there are pros and cons to everything in life, even to things you like. Even with even with your interests, there are there are moments that can still give you a headache there. But the fact that you're interested in it, you're more than likely going to be determined to keep pushing through, even when you have a headache, because I want to do this. So that is the big difference between your interest and something that you really are not interested in, but maybe you're doing it because, well, I have to do this, or for this reason. Sort of like having a day job so you can pay the bills. So yeah, so there, but yeah, that's how that be there. Um, so yeah, eventually, yeah, settled on the meeting her at Cross Lake during a fall festival. Was it the let me see, let me double check. Double check what that was. Oh, and it also came out in 2010. Oh yeah, that's because because I already had book 2 and 3 out. So the minute I changed publishers, I immediately put both of those books out. So yeah, 2012. Yeah, of course I was ready to put book 4 out there. Fall festival, yeah. So yeah, it was fall festival, and of course in book 5, they had the sort of the fair going on that we have over here in Shreveport, Lifetime be right at the end of kind of well, it's not completely at the end of fall, but right kind of in October, pretty much there before because I obviously you wouldn't want to put something like that in November because yeah, people are wanting to get ready for Thanksgiving and stuff like that. And then Christmas right after it. So yeah, basically right over in October. Yeah, of course you got Halloween going on, but that's not really something that the state fair would interfere with because I mean, me and Christina, we even um, I think 20 I think it was 20 yeah I think it was 2009 when because I had my costume I still had my dreadlocks. We actually went to the fair dressed up as Star Striker and Bubblina. She had a mermaid costume on and I had my Star Striker costume on. Yeah, so that was a lot of fun there. Yep. So there. So yeah, there was that. We So yeah, got book four out there with the way it was and everything. Also, book four, it was at first, um, as I was still trying to get it together, like how they were gonna meet her and stuff. Um, and I did finally come up with the whole beach thing. There was actually gonna be where Samuel and Brian not only met Bubblina, but also met. She was also going to have some siblings at one point. I think um, obviously her mother. I think what the story at one point the story was that her mother had got captured or something like that, or Bubblina herself had got captured, and her sisters came to Star Striker and Target for help there. Like, can you please help us rescue our sister or mother? Um, by some adult scientists, and yeah, that was so yeah. I think she had like two sisters that were going to be in the series. It was an old. They were both younger than her, so it was two siblings she had there. Yep, but of course, as you see in the final cut, she's an only child. But she does have some friends that will be introduced later in the series, though. That she hangs out with some mermaid friends, though. Um, so yeah, there was gonna be that, and then finally, book five. The Honestly, that was probably as much as I went back and forth with the previous books, especially a little bit with three and more so with four. Five was a really difficult one because this was the first time that the character Vantamex, aka Calvin Wayne, that I actually had an origin story for him. I had never wrote an origin for Vantamex, Calvin, or like a backstory for him at all. Because in the 2004 series, it was Star Striker. He woke up with his powers and started adapting to him. His friend Brian became Target to join him. They eventually met up with Sword Girl. And teamed up with her after first fighting her. Then Star Striker's girlfriend Angela, as a result of what had happened to her in an earlier episode, ended up getting aquatic bubble powers and became Bubble Girl. Sort of a development there. Then me and Casey were like, hey, let's make a team like the Teen Titans there. I said, well, if we're gonna do that, we need a fifth member. So with not any backstory at all, Venom X was just thrown in there. Pretty much dated Sword Girl, got his powers. They fought some curse at the Egyptian museum, and then the Dream League was born. So, which ironic about the Egyptian thing because yeah, it's Egypt based in book number five with Penubian and all that. Um, and because of that, yeah, he so yeah, it was a tough thing of trying to come up with how the story was going to go as well as his origin. Um, so it was quite a bit there. Like I said, I'm not completely sure of the details of all it went, but I do remember that was the out of the first five, that was the hardest one. There was book number five. The that was the most struggle of you know where was this going to go? How was that going to happen and stuff like that? So yeah, um, so that kind of so yeah, that's pretty much all I got to kind of sum that up. One other thing I'll throw in before we close out there, just a little over the hour mark. Before we close out, at one point, check my previous videos of my Power Ranger of like different stuff I came up with for Power Rangers, the history of Power Rangers, Cyber Squad, and Digi Ranger. And in that, I think I mentioned in there, and I also have done history of Power Rangers Cyber Squad on my other channels. But in those history videos, I recall mentioning about a crossover very early when I first started. You know, when Power Rangers Cyber Squad first starts, and they first five Rangers and all, first crossover they instantly have after a few episodes is an episode just called simply Sword Girl, and Sword Girl is on the run, much like in the Dark Heroes of Dream version, which yeah, it was around the same time I was still debating on going with that. Um, so yeah, it was sort of, I guess you could say, an alternate variant universe version of the Dark Heroes of Dream era, and yeah, she was on the run and everything, and the Rangers end up meeting up with Star Striker, who was already assembled as the Dream League with Target, Bubblina, and Venom X, and they were trying to get Sword Girl, but to fight alongside them as a hero there. So yeah, there was that, and the whole thing of Sword Girl being on the run in Power Rangers Cyber Squad was sort of based on an episode of Batman Beyond that I had seen simply called Zeta, which led to the spinoff we all know called the Zeta Project there. So yeah, there was that there. Yep. And I think there was also attempts that like Star Striker and some of these characters in other forms, like one was in a sitcom that I called myself trying to come up with for Disney Channel called TC Time, and there was some episodes of it where TC it was imagining him and his friends in Power Rangers Kroger Force and the Star Striker League and the Dream League type thing there. So yeah, there was that sort of like Doug with the show on Nickelodeon and Disney Channel where he would imagine himself as a superhero Quail Man there. So yeah, there was all that, and that's all I got for here there. They say I guess everybody trying to enjoy that. I guess trying to enjoy that fourth. I guess um if they're about pop fireworks, I guess it didn't really do much over in your area. Yep. Or maybe it's possible they still could do fireworks there. This all depends. I don't know. Like I say, because it's summer. I know it's summertime. It's nighttime right now, but um, it depends. I guess it depends on how fast the ground dries and stuff. So um, anyway, hope y'all enjoyed everything you just heard and everything. And, uh, as a spoiler, we uh, if my hopefully my schedule be in my favor for next week where I can start reading this to you guys. Half of it one night and half the other night, along with the Bible reading stream. Uh, Tuesday, more than likely Tuesday through Thursday. My normal live streaming days. So yeah, so hopefully we'll be able to do that next week there with hopefully my schedule will work in my favor for that. But for now, that's all we got. If by tomorrow, we should be hearing from EJ. I heard him mention he was asking if people wanted him to do a live stream tomorrow for the 4th of July. So he'll be confirming that tomorrow. Just keep your eyes on his channel and everything, and see what he does there. But he should be coming on the live stream on the 4th. If nothing else, if nothing gets in the way or anything. I think and I'm pretty sure he's going to be live streaming next Friday too on his birthday, the 11th. Birthday, but I ain't gonna tell you what it's gonna be about. I'm gonna let him surprise you with that. But yeah, I do. But he should be on next Friday. He should be live streaming tomorrow, for the 4th. And then of course, on the 19th, gather for Superman. Look up, dun 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 dun. So like what you heard and everything, like, share, and subscribe. Definitely get our available books. So be available books and everything, and support us on that Patreon, just like Iceman Universe does, and also show them some love so you can get full link. So you can see the full link of his reaction videos, and in supporting us on Patreon, you get some early releases that we haven't dropped on YouTube yet, as well as also the Patreon only exclusive Flora and the Strikerverse. Also, just like you hang out with us in these live streams, also hang out with us on Discord, Facebook, and let's tell each other some stuff in the Macari app. And without further ado, we will see y'all in the. Oh wait, that's what I was gonna share with you guys there. Man, hold up, don't go nowhere yet. I had just because I was listening, which I'll have a short up soon on this. But I was listening to What's Done in the Dark from Tyler Perry, a reaction to it, and I saw there were two guys I saw. First one, Terrell Carter. He was playing Dr. Bowman in that, and this other guy, Dino Hanson, playing Calvin Senior. So I was thinking like, well, they seem like they could be good Lex. I thought like Terrell could be a good Lex Luthor, but then I saw Dino Hanson. I was like, nothing against Terrell, but Dino kind of nails it with being a Lex Luthor with look, my time is my money. So yeah, he actually nails it with being a Lex Luthor, and they say I did that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, wrong. Oh, well, come on, come on, stop it. Okay. Yep, not bad at all. Yep. So I will have a short up on that there. So yeah. All right. So just wanted to show that real quick. So like I said, do all that stuff I said earlier, and we will see y'all in the next video. Y'all take care, everybody.